All right, then we are back at This is Business Center right here on, of course, Metropole TV. And today we are talking about hydroponic farming. And we are joined by Mercy Mugendi, who is the co-director of Grow Pact Limited. And she's here to talk about this hydroponics farming and what you need to do in order to make sure that you have good yields as you continue using this system. Now, welcome to the show, Mercy. How are you?
Very fine, thank you.
Okay, let us begin by understanding what hydroponics farming is, and you can also explain to us what your company does.
Oh, thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you for this opportunity to allow me explain what hydroponic farming is. Like you said, my name is Mercy. I work for Grow Pact. The next question will be to ask what is Grow Pact. So Grow Pact is a nursery. We use smart technologies to produce quality seedlings for farmers. But also, besides that, we also introduce new technologies in farming, one being hydroponics, to farmers to show them how they can produce and make commercial gain out of it. So we also have demonstration farms to show farmers how they can produce well with less water using drip irrigation and new technologies. So basically, that's what Grow Pact does. And now I will talk about hydroponics farming. Hydroponic farming is a new technology. It's not very new in the world, but it's coming new in our continent, Africa. It's a method of producing crops, not in the conventional soil. Instead, you put your plants submerged in organic medium, growing medium, and that way you produce high quality seed crops. You can produce vegetables, you can produce fruits, you can produce herbs also in hydroponic systems.
All right, and now what are some of
So
the...
basically, in simple, in layman language, is hydroponics production is producing on soil,
All
soil
right.
production.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Now, what are some of the requirements needed for hydroponics farming as a farmer? What would you need in order to start this?
For requirements, what you need, first of all, you need to identify which kind of hydroponic farming you want to do. There are different types of hydroponics. So once you identify which method you want to use, then that will guide you to what equipment you need to purchase or to have to produce hydroponically.
And now, can we say any plant can be grown using hydroponics? What would you advise on the plant side? Is it any other? Is there a requirement that these are the plants that we can grow using hydroponics,
Yeah.
or you can grow any other plant using it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, actually speaking, you can grow any crops hydroponically, but tubers, like things like potatoes, beetroots, carrots, they will do much better in the soil. But you can produce anything from vegetables, herbs, fruits, you can produce on the hydroponics. I think maybe I can take it back from your previous question about the requirements that you need. Maybe it's good to mention the types of hydroponics that are there. Then farmers can understand then the requirements that they need. Would that be okay, Kevin?
It's okay. It's okay. You can mention them. You can mention them, but
Yeah.
that will give our question of the day some answers. People will people will steal from that. So you can
You're
just
giving people
mention.
more Kenya.
Yeah, they'll get more Kenya from there. But you can just explain them without mentioning their names. You can just mention
Okay.
the processes
Wow.
yeah.
Ooh, that's a little bit tough there. Then maybe let's take it to the end of the show. It's very hard to explain something without mentioning the name.
Okay. Okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. There's no problem with that. But
Maybe basically what I can say, there are two ways to look at it. There
uh-huh.
are some systems that you can use in a small scale, and there are other systems that you can use commercial. So like if you're people for DIY, there are some systems that you can really use even at home, even at your balcony. But also if you want to go commercial, there are other systems that you really need which are more technical.
Okay, okay, all right.
Yeah, and there are also systems that also you can combine growing of crops and animals, like fish.
Ah, and
Yeah,
now,
there's also systems like that.
okay, so let me just ask you. Maybe
Yeah,
we say, because this system, of course, it's new in Kenya, and most
yeah,
people would really want to know. So, for example, maybe a large-scale farmer would want to use
yeah.
this to maybe put tea there, coffee. So, explain to us how this process can be for a large-scale farmer.
Well, for a large scale farmer, the space, first of all, those are things to consider. The space that you need, because first of all, you need to do a really good business plan. That will guide you to know what is it that you want to invest in. In commercial terms, like we said, this is a new technology in Kenya. Then you need some technicians for technical support. You don't want to make mistakes. Like when we are doing DIYs, you learn from the mistakes you make. But with this one, you cannot dare make a mistake in it. So for commercial, you really have to have a very good business plan to know what is it that I want to produce, what space, then yeah, all the requirements that you need. It's a bit intensive for something like that, but it's very doable and it pays back.
Ah, okay. All right. And now, how can
Yeah.
someone take care of plants in hydroponics? Is it the same way as when you plant in a shamba? Or explain to us this, how someone can take care of their plants in hydroponics.
In the hydroponics, actually, that's the biggest advantage of having a hydroponics. You don't need too much labor because yeah, the biggest challenge we have in crops production is pest and diseases. So in hydroponics, you will never find weed. So there's no weeding. And then, there's no soil, and most diseases that we have is pest and they're soil-borne diseases. So when you're doing hydroponic farming, then I mean, the best thing that you have is the problem of diseases is removed from you. But still, that doesn't mean that the farmer is totally safe. They still have to do a lot of scouting to check if there could be insects that are chewing. In our ponds, I find sometimes you have snails that chew on our pactory. So you have to keep you have to keep checking how your crops are doing and what could be scouting for diseases, that is, or even for pests. Then the other thing, you have to really be keen to check the state of your water, because like I said, we are not planting on soil, we are using water which has a lot of nutrients. So you have to keep checking the nutrient content of your soil, of your water, I mean, sorry. And then also you have to check if you're using a pump, you have to check if your pump is working. If there is power outage, which we experience a lot of times, you have to be very keen to have it running all the time, because what happens in this system is that you bring the water to the plant, yeah. So if the water is not available to the plant and the nutrients, I mean, you lose all your crop. So those are some of the practices that the farmer needs to do in a hydroponics.
Ah, and now I'm curious to know, what about the temperature? What is ideal for the temperature of the plants in hydroponics? And also, adding on to that, what would you advise on the pH?
Okay, for the ideal temperature would be anything between 18 degrees to 26 degrees. So now that is also another reason that the farmer needs to keep checking the state of his water. Yeah, then the other one is the pH. You need to maintain a pH of between 6.3 to 7.8.
All right. And now,
Yeah,
what kind of nutrients are used in hydroponics? Because you've mentioned about nutrients, and where can
yeah.
farmers get them?
Well, now that's another challenge for our Kenyan farmers, where to get these nutrients, because we are used to the DAP, CAN, what you buy from the shop. But for these ones, you need soluble nutrients. Say from you need the phosphorus, just the basic needs for our crop. So you will need the phosphorus, you'll need the potassium, you need the sulfur, you need some nitrogen in it. Yeah. So basically, those are the needs that you need for the hydroponics. Potassium. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
some sulfur. So, but where you can find them, some agrovets keep them, but not many, because also the agrovets, it's a business. So you keep products that really are moving. Some of those fertilizers are a little expensive, just slightly higher than what we are used to. So it may make the farmer shy away from it, but they're available. They're available in Kenya. So there are some places you can get Algon Kenya. They have, I think, Amiran. They also have. Yeah, yeah.
So
They are available.
now for Grow Pact, do you have a way of advising farmers on how they can do this hydroponics farming, where they can get their products in order to make sure that they have good yields?
Yes, as Growpact, we do actually, like I told you, our core business is production of seedlings. So we produce seedlings that you can grow on the soil and also in the hydroponics. So to support the farmer, we advise them and introduce them to these new methods of farming, especially for farmers who don't have so much space. And then also for farmers who have money but have been frustrated by, and they want something commercial system, and actually support them to build hydroponic system and the technical knowledge and support production, but of course at a fee.
And now, how,
Yeah.
for example, now, how do you make sure that you maintain the quality of water that is used in this kind of system? Because you know, water is very delicate. You things, many things
Yeah.
enter. What now? Explain to us how you maintain that in order to grow these plants.
Yeah, first thing the farmer, if you know the crops that you want to produce, it will guide you to the kind of water that you will use. Now, when it goes to protecting your water, then you can go to another step of maybe building a shed where your water does not, there's no mixing of your water with external water, like maybe from the rain and things like those. Also, you could do an insect netting around your hydroponic system such that you keep away pests and maybe insects that can destroy your crops. And then in the same way now, if you have pests on your crops, you have to spray. When you spray, it also affects the nature of your water. So those are some of the things that a farmer can do to protect their water.
All right. And now,
And then
as
also they can also keep changing the water. Sorry, I cut you
it's
short.
okay. It's okay.
They
Continue.
can
Continue.
also change the water regularly to keep the water clean, to ensure that the water is clean at all times.
All right. And now, as we wind up, because I'm being told our time is almost up. So as we wind up, maybe a farmer who lives in the urban area in Nairobi wants to do this, and they don't have a good space. Can someone change their study room and make it as an hydroponics area of planting? As we wind up, just advise us on what someone can do who wants to do this in Nairobi.
Yeah, actually, you can even change your bedroom into a hydroponic system.
Yeah.
It requires very little space, so yes, you can dedicate some of the spaces that you have. If you have extra space in your houses, you can dedicate it to producing your own good crops. Yeah, so such that you're sure you're eating healthy products. Because with hydroponics, the only thing is that the water is given some nutrients which are healthy. So, and then you avoid the spraying, which is what is a biggest challenge in our nation right now because of the overuse of chemicals. I think there was an expose on that. And if you want to avoid that, hydroponics is a way that can solve that problem. Yeah, so you can grow, you can do hydroponic systems anywhere, even in your house.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, Mercy. Our time was very short, but thank you so much for the
No
insight that
problem.
you've given us. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Welcome.
Okay. Now we are going to go for a short break. We'll be right back with innovations and agri-facts.